Welcome, everyone, and great to have you here at council tonight. We are the 15th meeting of the 142nd Council of the Corporation of the City of St. Thomas. And I would like to just start with disclosures of interest. Is there any disclosures of interest from any of the members? Seeing none, we'll move on to minutes.
Your worship, I have a motion that the minutes of the meeting held on April the 19th, 2022 be confirmed. Moved by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Next item.
Council will now resolve itself into committee of the whole to deal with the following business. First committee this evening is Strategic Direction and Development. 3 items of new business relating to a committee of adjustment meeting being held by Zoom on May the 12th, 2022 at 10 a.m. The first is an application for a minor variance to permit the construction of a detached garage with a maximum height of 6.78 meters and a floor area of 78.93 square meters at 92 Metcalfe Street, whereas the zoning bylaw allows a maximum height of 4 meters and a maximum floor area of 67 square meters. The second is an application for a minor variance to permit the construction of a sunroom addition 6 meters from the rear lot line at 17 Mary Bucke Street, whereas the zoning bylaw requires a minimum of 9 meters. And the third one is for an application for a consent and minor variance. Now, this is to create separate lots and provide for drainage and mutual access easements for the townhouse dwellings at 7, 9, and 11 Ukrainian Street. A concurrent minor variance application has been made with the consent application to recognize any zoning deficiencies that will result through the proposed consent. Your worship, unless there are any further items from the members, we'll move on to community engagement and services. No items on the agenda at this time, unless there are any items from the members.
Seeing none.
Moving into infrastructure and civic operations. At this time, your worship, no items on the agenda unless there are any items from the members.
Seeing none.
We'll move to corporate governance and administration. First item relates to the sale of land between 141 and 143 Forest Ave. I have a motion that report PR 0922 relating to land between 141 and 143 Forest Avenue be received for information, and further the council direct administration to undertake administrative actions to sell lot 5 block 13 on plan 65 except for STH 70475 to the property owner of 143 Forest Avenue in accordance with the city's policy for the disposition of surplus land. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Bucke.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Next item relates to the Social Services Relief Fund, Phase 5. I have a motion that report SCSS 0522 relating to the Social Services Relief Fund Phase 5 be received for information, and further the council approve the proposed Social Services Relief Fund Phase 5 investment plan for St. Thomas Elgin, and further that a bylaw be prepared authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the sign back letter attached to report SCSS 0522 as a requirement to receive the funding. Moved by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Questions or comments? Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you. Through you to the director, if I could please, if there's any possibility, I could request for a high-level synopsis of what is in this report for the members of the public. I will be fully supporting, and not just this report, but the upcoming bylaw tonight as well. Please.
Ms. Sheridan.
Thank you for the question, through you, your worship, to Councillor Baldwin-Sands. So the report is showing that their Social Service Relief Fund Phase 5 is $756,400 that is being allocated to the city, and it's basically part of a wind down plan for Social Services Relief Fund. The different programs that have been funded through social services relief have been housing related relief as far as paying rent, utilities. There's been food bank allocations. There has the street outreach team has been funded through that. The Queen Street development is part of the Social Services Relief Fund. So all of those things that are available to help the most vulnerable in our community have been part of the Social Relief Fund, and hopefully it will continue till the end of December. And it's been invaluable for our community. Thank you.
Anything further? Okay, Councillor Peters and then Councillor Clark.
Thanks, Your Worship. Actually, it's the last comment that you made, funded through to the end. So you've got all these wonderful programs that help all kinds of people. And then December 31 comes and the funding is gone. And does that mean then that we're going to have to find funding in our own budget to pick up that gap that's going to exist in the future? Because suddenly January 1st, 2023, things aren't going to be all better or rosy for people. So how do we deal with that? It's a concern of mine when we get one-time funding or funding program allocation like this, and then the tap gets turned off, and then the onus falls back on us municipality. Just appreciate any thoughts or comments you might have.
Yeah, through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Peters, I appreciate that concern. And I can tell you that there's advocacy amongst service managers to look at increased funding in Chippy, which is now considered, it's a new program called Homelessness Prevention Programs. So there's advocacy to get an increased amount in there. We also looked at items like the street outreach that we have in the city and paying it forward so that it actually will allow that program to be run for another year based on the funding. And so we're able to do that. But there is advocacy going on to get some more funding for those projects.
Councillor Clark.
Thank you, through you to the administrator. Was there any of these funds used for security at the inn? I'm just wondering if we could get an update since we've moved to our new locale, what the level of security is and whether these types of funds can be used for that.
Through Your Worship, to Councillor Clark, there was some funding that was available to the inn, and security was one of the items in that funding. The inn actually fits nicely with the SSRF relief because it is for shelters and vulnerable persons. And we have had recent conversations with the inn about increasing their security presence there.
And when do you think you'll see the results of that conversation take place?
We'll do it as soon as possible for sure. I know there are some concerns and the funding can be available as soon as possible, but it also depends on how the recruitment of security and how that works through the inn, which we really have no control over. So,
yeah. Further questions, Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. Heather, does the 756,000 meet your needs, or do you have to supplement more to add to that to meet your goals and what you want to do?
Through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Herbert. So we could use more for sure, and I've already spoken to our representative at the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing about how we can get more money, more funding, especially in the capital side for housing and supportive housing, because we know that is a need in our community. So it is on the radar there, but it definitely, we could use more money if it was available. So I'm doing my best to get what we can.
Okay, so supplement, Your Worship. So next year, do you have to apply for more, or this is just what you got?
Through Social Services Relief Fund, they're telling us at the end of that titled Social Services Relief Fund will end at the end of December this year. But like I mentioned, we are advocating for increased funding in other areas that could be used for similar projects with the most vulnerable in the community.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Your worship, no further items under corporate governance and administration unless there are any items from the members. Seeing none, council will now reconvene into regular session. I have a motion that the recommendations, directions, and actions of council and committee of the whole as recorded in the minutes of this date be confirmed, ratified, and adopted. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Bucke.
Sorry, questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
No reports of committees this evening. We'll now move into petitions and communications. First item relates to a proclamation and flag raising request from the Canadian Mental Health Association. I have a motion that Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim May 2nd to 8th, 2022 as Canadian Mental Health Week in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Canadian Mental Health Association flag be flown at City Hall from May 3rd to 8th, 2022, and further that a flag raising ceremony be held at City Hall on May 3rd, 2022 at 10 a.m. Moved by Councillor Reimel, seconded by Councillor Bucke.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Second is a request for a proclamation and flag raising from Victim Services Elgin. I have a motion that Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim the week of 15th to the 21st, May 15th to 21st, 2022, as Victims and Survivors of Crime Week in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Victim Services Elgin flag be flown at City Hall from May 16th to 21st, 2022, and further that a flag raising ceremony be held at City Hall on May 16th, 2022. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Reimel.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? It's carried.
Third item is a request for a proclamation, flag raising, and jumbo lighting relating to Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I have a motion that Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim September 2022 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Childhood Cancer Gold Ribbon flag be flown at City Hall from September 19th to 26th, 2022, and further that the Jumbo Monument be lit in gold color from September 19th to 26th, 2022. Moved by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor Bucke.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Next item is a letter received from the Multi-Municipal Wind Turbine Working Group regarding setback distances for wind turbines. The next item is from the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, correspondence received relating to the 2021 financial statements, the 2021 annual report, and the 2021 corporate performance report. Available either attached, the financial statements attached, and the other two items are available on the website. Your worship, no further items on the agenda unless there are any items from the members.
Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you. I would like to wish all of those celebrating Eid Mubarak. It is the last day of the month of fasting, time of reflection, and supporting those less fortunate. So again, I wish all those recognizing Eid Mubarak. I also would like to announce that Wednesday, May the 11th, is Ronald McDonald McHappy Day, a day that we raise funds for Ronald McDonald House in this community. And on Thursday, May the 5th, it's Red Dress Day, the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, which is a nice way for me to invite everyone. I sent an invitation for May 12th in regards to a Truth and Reconciliation event that will be hosted by Catfish Creek Conservation Authority on May the 12th. So hopefully my fellow members of council and members of staff will be able to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Baldwin Sands. Items from other members? Next item.
Thank you, Your Worship. We'll move on to unfinished business. If there's any unfinished business from any of the members? Seeing none, new business? Your Worship, seeing none, we'll now move into bylaws. Councillor Baldwin Sands has graciously agreed to read the bylaws. I have a motion that leave be granted to bring in the bylaws. Moved by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Bucke.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
I have a motion by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Bucke, that the bylaws be now read a first time, referred to council and committee of the whole, and read a second time.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
First bylaw, please.
First bylaw is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on the second day of May, 2022.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries. Next item, please.
Second bylaw is a bylaw to delegate certain authority during a restricted acts period.
Questions on the bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? That bylaw is carried. Third item, please.
Third and final bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the city and Her Majesty the Queen in Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. This relates to the Social Services Relief Fund, Phase 5.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries unanimously. I rise and report the successful passing of the 3 bylaws.
Your Worship, at this time, I have a motion by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Bucke, that the report of council and committee of the whole on the 3 bylaws be received and adopted. The same be read a third time, engrossed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Your Worship, no public notice or notices of motion this evening. There is a need to move into closed session. I have a motion that this meeting be closed to deal with a proposed or pending acquisition and disposition of land. Moved by Councillor Baldwin Sands, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. We are in close. We'll check. Yeah.